board members, Mr. Schmidt, faculty and staff, parents, grandparents, friends in the class of 2013, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you today before we all graduate tomorrow. I actually thought that I would be able to avoid the speech requirement. Alas, I have been summoned, so here I am. When I was told that I would have the opportunity to speak, I looked up baccalaureate speech on Wikipedia. And there's nothing there. I stared at the screen and I create a definition, and then I can do whatever I want. But after a few minutes, it was still blank. So I decided to keep this talk within my wheelhouse. For 40 years, I've been involved with sayings and quotes that have served us all, both athlete and non-athlete. So I thought I would come up with some thoughts and comments that I would share. And actually, the number that I came up with is prime number. It's the number of MIL championships that this particular group helped bring to Seabury Hall.
Yes.
It's the same number of students that are on one of the teams. And so I was hoping that one of the class, my Algebra 1 class 4 years ago, would be able to give me that prime number.
Infinity.
Exactly. No, prime number. And that's exactly the way we were 4 years ago. I'm glad to see we progressed. The number's 11. So I'm going to share 11 thoughts with you, comments. But before I do that, I think it's critical that the class of 2013 acknowledge your parents. When you came into the world, the only thing you could do, inhale, exhale, cry, swallow, poop. Not in that order. But your parents stayed with you, and they got up at all hours of the night and took care of you. And then you became children, and they watched over you. And then you became adolescents. And then your parents were wondering, what happened to the infant child that we loved before? And they supported you, and they stayed with you in such a way that you're going to graduate from Seabury Hall tomorrow. So, class of 2013, please rise and give your heroes, your parents, the ovation they deserve. They're a very physically fit group. You notice how they can fan. My first thought is for you to travel. Spread your wings and go to all parts of the world. You'll appreciate where you've come from. You're going to learn lessons that'll be with you the rest of your life. You'll find out how fortunate you are to have been raised in this environment. But remember, the intent is not to have you come back in the same current bedroom that you now exist. And then I would ask that you take care of your body. Your body is meant to move. It's meant to take your brain and your heart to areas of the world or wherever and have them perform a function. It would be a crime against your brain and your heart if your body failed it before they could achieve their mission. Your brain has to go out, take pictures, log memories, solve problems. And your heart has two things. Your heart has to find its passion, your passion, and yes, it's here. Your life soulmate. So it's critical that you keep your heart strong and open to what life has to offer. We're very lucky to live in this environment in Maui, and you need to take that gift. We share things here. We take care of one another, and that's a valuable attribute, very valuable thing to have, and we want to share that. I reflect back on, in fact, I was going to say, we actually have heated competition, and then we eat meals together after games. And our most fiercest competitor comes from a place called the Friendly Isle. There you go. I'm reminded of a story when in 1990 we did a teacher exchange, and I was in New Jersey. My two daughters were with me, and we were in the mall, and in order to park, you had to have coins, so I put my coins in. I was going back to the car, and a lady from New Jersey stopped me and said, "Do you have change for $1?" And I looked down, I had a few quarters and a few dimes. And I don't have $1, but here, take this. That'll allow you to park. And she gave me this most incredulous look and said, "You're not from around here, are you?" Now, when I heard that Joe Bellafore's grandmother is from New Jersey, I heard this yesterday, I went, "Oh my goodness." So wherever you are, that was not to reflect on New Jersey. It was to say that Hawaii has a little different lifestyle. I believe that integrity is the most valuable attribute you have. And a quote by John MacDonald says it pretty well. Integrity is not a conditional word. It doesn't change with the weather, it doesn't fly with the wind. It's an image of your inner self. And when you look inside and you see someone who won't lie or cheat, that person probably never will. When Mark Twain was asked about being honest, he had a great quote. He said, "Always tell the truth. That way you don't have to remember what you said." You are in control of yourself. You have total control of what you say and you do. People are going to try to influence you and have you do things. They're going to try to impact your feelings, but you have total control. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can hurt you without your consent." So always keep control. I would suggest to you that you always make the effort to get your first choice. Example, parking at Costco. If you want to park next to the store, you have to make the effort. You have to go down, you might have to wait, you might have to cut somebody off. But understand, if that's your first choice, go for it. Because your second choice, all the parking spaces in the back, they'll always be there. Please practice the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Why is it gold? Because you can bank on it. If you treat people the way you'd like to be treated, you'll be able to reap those investments later when people do the same in turn. Be able to laugh at yourself. Never take yourself so seriously that you don't appreciate the ability of being fallible. You're going to fall down and make mistakes in front of your loved ones. But what are you going to do? You get back up, smile on your face.
In your heart.
Hopefully your brother is someone, and not Snoop Dogg. Listen. Listen to other people. Listen to their points of view. You may not agree with them, but it's a great attribute to listen. Make sure you're trying to understand before being able to be understood. When you listen, you'll create strong relationships, which in turn will build strong institutions. Mr. Schmidt actually provided thought number 10 at one of our assemblies when he said, "Character is what you are when no one's watching." And, as the great coach John Wooden would teach his athletes, his basketball players at UCLA, he would tell them, be more concerned about your character than your reputation. Your character is what you are. Your reputation is what others think you are. And then finally, thought number 11, live your life as the way you want to be spoken about at your own funeral. You want the people above the ground to express things like, this person always told us that they loved us. This person lived their life with honesty and integrity. They were dedicated to their family. Unfortunately, you won't be able to respond, but knowing that you treated people in a fair and just manner will let you rest in peace. Makawao Center. We can share talks about this particular presentation. And you may say, worst few minutes I've ever spent in my life. Or you may say, you know, something you said kind of stuck with me for a few minutes or whatever. The fact that you can have that conversation with me in 50 years will mean that it was somewhat worthwhile. So thank you again. I'm excited to watch you go into your adult world. I'm always amazed at how our seniors assimilate into that adult world, and we never age. Thank you.